Hello again, everyone. So in a previous class, in the video lecture I have been sending all these days, and I have already given you a brief introduction of what is a database, what comprises a database, what is a database management system. I have also discussed about the structure of the database, and the different fields, the records, that you have in a database. I have also discussed about the relational database management system. Right, and then in there we have also talked about different type of keys, most importantly the terminologies that you will come across when you start working with the database management system. Right. So, and then I have also discussed about a concept called as a structure query language. Right. So that is what we will be implementing here today, by practically the structure query language. In a structure query language, what you need to remember is that, and like what I've already mentioned in video, structure query language is a command, right? It is a query command that you use in order to perform any type of query, any type of information that you need to extract from the database. You can do that using the structure query language. Right, the structure query, the software normally for a structure query language is the MySQL, right? So for my structure query language, we'll not look into all the other, software and all that. In here, fine, we will right away start with creating a database, right? So the command here, first time when you want to start working with a database, right, what you need to remember is you need to create a new database. So here, this is a it's an inbuilt software, inbuilt database software. We will not look into that first. I want to show you the command. And once you understand the command, then you can easily use this method. Here what you do is you don't have to type the command. You can easily create a new database and all that. But that is not what I want you to do. Right? If you have to work only in the command line, and what do you do is you have to learn the actual command in order for performing all this operation. So fine, what we will do is we'll start with this command, and I want you to copy down all this. Fine. So for creating a new database here, the command is cr. You can type it. This was is case insensitive, so it doesn't matter whether you type in capital letter or in small letter. Fine. As long as you type it in the database platform, this will work exactly the same. So here is create, create database, followed by the database name that you want to use. Say for example, college, and create this name. Fine. A database call us college. And remember every command here, every instruction, fine, in MySQL here is terminated with a semicolon, so that your computer will be able to differentiate one command with another command. I'll run this here. Right. Result near database center. Okay, create database. I already have created a database, fine, using a create database command. Fine. And anyway, this will not work here. Fine, this will work only in the command line. But since I have some problem, like what you have noticed the other day, when I have some problem with my command line, due to which I'm not able to run it there. So because of that, I'm showing you here directly. Right. For you, what it's okay, just ignore this error, but because this is the way how it's done, fine, just type the command. The first step is you need to create the database. So the command is create, create followed by database, followed by the database name. What do you want to use exactly? And here, see, you might be having many databases. So now when you want to use a particular database, say if you have already 4 or 5 databases that has already been created, you need to change, you need to mention the machine, the database that you want to use. For example, if this is the database that you have just created, so you will be using the command USE followed by the database name. This means that you are telling your machine here to use the database college. And out of all the database that is existing already, this is what you are telling your computer here to use the database college. Right, so this is the first thing, and only this will you'll do it one time, creating a database and telling the machine that you want to use this particular database. Now we'll be looking in this, at this properly once you start doing your own, creating your own database, when you get to do this practically. Now once a database has been created, fine, okay, we just consider that the database has been created. In this case, I've already created a database called college. So what do we need to do next is we need to have all those small table. We need to create all those table, and in order to be able to store it inside the database college. For example, what I have here is I have this table, fine, student here. There is this table student. Okay, let me put all this inside. Okay, and put a border to this. And so, for example, this is my table. This is one table. The name of the table here is student. Now, this student, if you remember from the video lecture, this is an entity. An entity is something that exists in the real world. Fine, this student here is an entity. Fine, and then in here, for example, if I am talking about the college, definitely it will not be only the student details, right, that I'll be storing. Beside the student, there will be many other things. One of the other factor that we will need will be a teacher or a department or a library, for example. And I've just included a teacher here. So teacher here will form another table. If I'm taking an example of only two table here. One is a student table, another one is a teacher's table. Here is where I will be maintaining the details of all the students. Here this is where I'll be maintaining the information or the details of all the teacher. So this here are two tables. This is just one table, fine, and this is another table. The student here is referred to as an entity. Even the teacher here is referred to as an entity. Fine. So first thing what we will do here is, and let me minimize this. First thing is I'll create the table. Find student here. So it's create. The command is create, followed by the table name. Fine, followed by create table is a command. And what is a table name that you want? You mention it here. student. Fine, create table name student. And then there's a bracket. Then okay, you continue in the same line or you continue in the next line, doesn't matter. But in my case, I'll continue in the next line so that you'll get exactly what I'm trying to do here. Fine. So student here is an entity, which in this particular case will refer to as a table. Now, under this table, what you have is you have this, right? The different column, roll number, student name, and student address. This one, if you have go through the video lecture, you'll understand that this is what we call as the field, the different field here. The student field for roll number, student name, and the student address. And this here is what we call as an attributes. Fine, attributes. When you talk about student here, student can be a very vast concept. Right? So in order for you to understand clearly what is this student, you will mention, say, a student roll number. Once you set a student roll number, then it's more clear, right? So that is what an attribute is. Attribute here is a properties that describe an entity. Student is an entity. I'll just write it here so that you'll remember. And this here is an entity. And this roll number, student name, and student address, this is called as an attribute. In this particular case, attributes. So this is your attribute, roll number, name, and the student address is the attributes to the entity student. Right? So this is what actually specify the student table. So in here we will be filling up this value using the different domain. Like roll number here, it's an integer. Right? So the domain here is integer. I've also discussed about the domain. So you'll have to go through the video lecture to understand that. You will get this in the in terminology. Find the video terminology. Tom here is composed of a character, combination of character. So this will be a character. And here address is also a combination of different character. Okay, going back to the student table. So what we have is we have created create table student, and then this student I'll have to give the attributes. Right, so I want an attribute. Say for in this particular case I've given roll number, roll underscore number. Right, and the domain for this is an integer. Fine. Next I've given student underscore name for a student name. Fine, and for this I'll use a domain called as a variable char, variable varying character. Varying character means, fine, since everyone name will not be exactly the same length, if you will have a shorter name, if you will have a longer name, that is by the varying character. Other than that, I've given address, right? So and this will also be a varying character. We add char and give some value, say 30, any value that you want to include. Fine, and then let me run this particular statement. So this is what it's showing here. Done. Okay, query executed. You have created a student table. Now we'll look at the actual structure of this table. Fine here. So this is what we have created: roll number, student name, and student address. We have not filled any of this, right? So because of that, nothing has been shown now. So second step is, once you have created a table, next step that you need to learn. Fine. Okay, you can copy this down. Once you have created this, next step that you need to do is you need to insert value into the table. For inserting value into the table, the command that you will use will be insert. The insert command, INSERT. This is the command. What do we want to insert? We want to insert into the table. That means your table here, STUDENT. What do we want to insert? We want to insert values for this. So insert into, fine, your table name here, this values. And the value that you will insert here, you will follow exactly the same format as this. So it has to be, okay, sorry, I have to correct this, I have to correct that. Okay, fine. So now what we have is here, it has to be roll number first. So I'll give a roll number, say 4. I'll give a name. Fine. Since it is a character, it have to be enclosed inside a quotation. Fine. So for example, I'll give Tom. Okay, capital letter. I'll type everything. And then second one is the address. Address is also a character. So let us say Shillong. Fine. And then close this. And then let me run this statement. And I'll run this particular statement here. So in this case, it's doing okay. Table student already exists. Okay, it's taking this also into consideration. So I'm closing this now. Okay, I'll open only this. I want to run only this particular line. So this is what we have. Insert into student. See here, once this two option that you see here, this is for running only a particular line. This one is for running the entire whatever command is here in the screen. Now this has already been run. So if I try running it again, it'll tell me that there's a table student that already exists. I don't want that. Fine, I want to fit in the value in this table itself. So insert into student the values for Tom and Shillong. Fine. And now let us see if those values have been inserted or not here. Tom, 4, Tom and Shillong. Roll number is 4, Tom and Shillong. Fine, you can add values here. But for now what we'll do is, okay, this is what you want to do if you want to insert new values. Since I've already shown you the command, then I can show you the shortcut. In your case, initially, you need to learn this, right? Because when you start using a database connecting it to Python, you will need to know the command. You cannot use this shortcut. Right? So this is the command. Next, if you want to insert another value, semicolon means to differentiate one command with another command. I'll copy paste this so that you will see. I'll copy this. I'll paste it here. In this value, okay, 1 has already been filled. Let me change the value here. Say from 4, say to 12. From Tom, let me give a different name now. Say for example, Jerry. And from Shillong, let me change it to Joy. For example, find G-O-W-A-I. And I'll try running this. Fine. Okay, execute all SQL command, whereas this one will execute only a specific line. So I'll run only this line. Fine. Okay, now this value has already been inserted. Let me go and cross check in the table, and this is what we have. Fine. 12, Jerry and Joy. Okay, I can delete this. We don't need this. Okay, nothing has been filled here. So I can delete this entire content, not a problem. Fine. So it will be 4, 12, Tom and Shillong. Right. Okay. Next. Okay, once that is done, so we have already created the table. First step. Second step is we have already inserted values into the table. What I'll show you, and we'll end here for today, is for example, I want to select the details of a particular student, or I want to display the content of the entire table. So here we have SELECT, select star from the table name. Select star from table name means whatever is there in this table, fine, display the content of this particular table. Select star from student. So whatever is there in this particular table, display that. And okay, so this is what we have here. Okay, the null also is being displayed. Okay, we'll be removing this. But okay, initially this is what you have. 4, Tom, Shillong, 12, Jerry and Joy. Okay, so this is how you insert values into your database and display the content of your database. We'll stop here for today. I'll continue with this practical topic in the next session. And thank you very much.